worship and bow down. We bow down.
Amen.
Amen.
Yes, sir. Well, happy Mother's Day once again to all you wonderful, beautiful mothers. Absolutely. You can say we got mothers in the house that have taken care of their children.
That's right. That's right.
The right kind of way.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Just to hear the testimonies and accolades to the moms. And the fact that they respond so quickly. When they hear the cry of their children, they respond.
Come on now.
quickly.
Come on now.
Yes, they do. Yes,
Us
they do.
dads don't respond so quickly. I'm in the same boat you in.
Yeah, right, right.
Dads go, okay, I hear you. You're all right. Moms on the other hand be like, oh no.
That's right.
We're not hesitating.
Right.
We ain't
Yeah.
gonna see if you're gonna be all right. I gotta come and know that you're all right.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Mamas.
That's a good thing. What a wonderful balance, huh?
Yes.
We can see this balance in God too, can't we?
Come on
We can
now.
see this balance in God. There's sometimes He responds real quickly, and then there's other times He just waits a while.
Come on now. There you go.
Yeah. Sometimes God just waits
Come on,
a while.
Pastor.
He said, "You be all right."
Yeah.
Yeah, you be all right. See, He don't always respond real quickly, does He?
Right.
Amen. So nice balance. See, that's what marriage is all about.
That's right.
Nice
That's
balance. No one's better and no one's worse.
These two.
Man. Well, just for a little bit, just want to share with you out of the text that was read, and we're just going to look at 161 and 162. And the thought is, my heart stands in awe of Jehovah. My heart stands in awe of Jehovah.
Yeah.
And you know, when we look at it and we think about what we were talking about last week when we were talking about fear and just how fear can create this false perception for us, and we can actually begin to walk or believe that there's something there that's not really there because fear really doesn't exist, or what we're making out of fear really doesn't exist. The narrative that we're writing really doesn't exist. And, you know, and it's pretty cool to be able to say that because we know that God did not create fear. And so how can fear exist where the Creator is when there is no fear? So it really doesn't exist. So if I'm where the Creator is, then how can fear really exist? I must be creating it myself, right? And so the narrative that I write is my narrative. It's not God's narrative. It's my narrative. And so then I try to move in that. Or actually I try to avoid it because I don't want the hurt and I don't want the pain. But at the same time, that fear causes me to be in a place where I think something is down the road that's really not down the road. You know, so we create that. And so as I was thinking about that a little bit last week, after we finished dealing with fear, the word awe came to me, and I think that word came to me like on Monday or Tuesday. And you know, the thought behind it is that you know, we've had in the past, and some of you guys be too young for this one. You guys remember the Beatles when they were the rave and they were hot, and wherever they went, folk fell out. You would have thought the power of God was on them. Wherever they went, folk was falling. I mean, fainting. I mean,
That's
just
right.
boom,
Yeah,
hitting the ground, fainting and crying and screaming. You would have thought Jesus himself walked up in the place, right?
Say that.
And then we got these other singers. I can't think of his name right now. Keith Sweat. Keith Sweat, where, you know, now some of y'all might remember him, right?
Yeah.
Now, you know, black folk don't fall out too much. They don't faint like that.
No.
But they still get enamored by the artist, right? And so he was so cool and so suave. He had folk taking bras off, throwing them at him,
stop it, stop
taking
it.
off panties.
Stop
and
it,
throwing them at
stop
him.
it.
Yeah, I mean, they did, you know. And so this is the level, and this is the place that people go just over people, right? They become enamored by people. And I was reading something one time, and it really it was about a couple of weeks ago, and it really stuck with me because the author said that, and I heard this before, and I agreed 100% with it then, but somebody said, you know, we need to be careful how we use the word awesome. That word should only be reserved for God. You know, and that's what they said. And when they were talking about it, I'm like, man, I agree 100% with that. Well, then this author, he was talking about just the word awesome, or all, in all. And he said that you and I shouldn't be in awe of anyone other than God. Because to be in awe means that the person is greater than you and bigger than you, right? Better than you, right? And he says, but because we were all created by God, we're all equal. So how can I be in awe of you when we're created and we're equal? Right? So I can't be in awe of you. So he used it as that the only person that we're in awe of is God, the Creator. Because he's the one that's over everybody.
Yes,
you know, he is the one that is great.
That's right.
And so I thought about that, and then I said, man, I really like that. I like the idea that we should not be in awe of anybody else. I like the idea that awesome should just be reserved to God, you know, because he still is the one who is impressive, right? There's no one more impressive than God, right? And so that's what we usually want to say, man, that was awesome. That means we was highly impressed by it, you know, had some wonder to it, you know what I mean? But then again, I can look at all the wonders of the world, you know, I can go to the Grand Canyon and look at how wonderful that is and all of that stuff. And we can become in awe of it. It's like, man. But then when I look at the one who created it, how much greater is the one who created that which got me excited, you know? And so, you know, I have to say to myself then, that can never get me as excited as the one who created it. I can never express how wonderful that is. It can never be as wonderful as the one who created it. And so, for me, I just said, I got to set that word awesome aside for God only. You know, God is awesome. Everything else, I don't know what word I'm assigned to it, but everything else is nice, is good, you know. But God is awesome. And so it made me, during the week, think also that while dealing with fear and talking about fear, a thought came to me that, you know, we have to be very careful because fear will make you become in awe of something you shouldn't be. You know, you can walk around in fear, and your fear becomes an awe of whatever the situation is. Right? So the situation itself becomes more impressive to you than God himself. The situation itself becomes bigger than God himself. And so we walk around and we may not use that I'm in awe of my sickness, or I'm in awe of what's going on my job, or I'm in awe of what's going on in my house, but my movement. And I don't know if anybody's ever been like, anybody ever tied God's hands? I'm the only one. I didn't tie his hands. I didn't handcuff him. Okay? And I'm going to tell you how I handcuffed him and why this text makes so much sense to me, because I handcuffed him because I was in a situation where my thinking was this, is that God, everybody has free will. And God ain't going to make nobody do nothing. Now that was my thought process. And I had this thought process for months. And it's like, God is not going to make anybody do anything. So I didn't think that the person that I was having this issue with, anything could happen, because I'm thinking, well, God ain't going to make them act right. You know, God ain't going to stop them from doing what they're doing, right? And so in my mind, I was actually saying, God, you're handcuffed. Because unless this person is willing to give you their heart and willing to change, ain't no change coming. And so I'm like, you're handcuffed, God. You know, because you're just not the kind of God that you're going to make somebody do something. So what I literally was doing was making that situation bigger than God. I made it bigger than God. I became in awe of the situation. And my awe was really my fear of the situation.
Come on now.
Right?
See.
And so God had to let me know some months down the road, son, you got it twisted.
There you go. It ain't bigger than me.
You need to understand that my hands ain't never handcuffed.
Uh-oh.
You need to understand they may not do what I want them to do, but I can move them out the way.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, they might not yield their heart to me, but I can move them out the way. And I said, well, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about it because I wrote my own scenario. Right? I had my own narrative going on because I was in awe of the situation. The situation, I realized that in my mind and in my eyes, the situation was bigger than God. The situation was badder than God. Huh? I know I'm probably the only one that's been down this road, but I've been down this road, and it's a, you know, it ain't a real road, but it is a road, right? You realize it ain't real after you get off of it, but while you're on it, you think this thing is real. This thing is big. This thing is huge. It's insurmountable. This is how people get into hopelessness. This is how people get into a place of despair, because the situation becomes bigger than they can handle. It becomes bigger than God. And even though they're talking to God and praying to God, and because things haven't happened and haven't changed, they become in awe of the situation. And all of a sudden, they're really bowing down to the situation instead of all right. And so I really like this text, because you know, it says in verse 161, he says, "Prince persecute me without cause, but my heart stands in reverent awe of your words.
Come on.
So I can expect you to help me.
There you
I
go.
rejoice at your word,
At your word.
as one who finds great." Come on.
Come on.
Look, my heart stands in awe of your word.
Come on now.
But I read that and I just was, okay, God. So in your word, in the words that you speak to me, I ought to be in awe of just that alone.
That's it. Come on.
Because your words are awesome.
Yes, sir.
Your words are great. Your words are magnificent. And your words come to fruition. I can stand in awe of your word. Huh? What does his word say to me? How does it encourage me?
Right.
Huh? If I read it close enough, I realize ain't nothing bigger than better than God.
Come on.
Nothing is greater than the Lord our God. Nothing.
Nothing.
Come on now.
You name it, whatever you want to name, the atomic bomb, whatever you want to name. He can go ahead and blow one up. And if God wants to, go ahead and set one off. And God is so bad, he said, look, go ahead and set it. I'm going to let you set it off. And I'm going to wave my hand and move the dust and particles out the air. I'm going to make things be like they always was. Huh?
My God.
That's
our God.
That's our God.
That's our God.
Who is like our God?
Come on now.
Who is like our God? What situation is like our God? I want to talk to some of the young upcoming rappers and whatnot, because I want them to know who is like our God.
Who is like our God?
Who is like our God? I get to hear these stories from Brand now, and who is like our God? You know, a young rapper got, you know, on tour and got $8 million placed in his pocket to go on this tour.
Wow. In his pocket.
In his pocket, $8 million. But they getting high off of driving a Lamborghini.
Wow.
That's what I'm learning.
Come on.
Huh? They getting high and getting drugged off of clothes. But they don't know how to manage their money.
Can't manage the money.
The stuff is bigger than God. The money is bigger than God. Don't realize that you're being used. Because when you use all that money, if your tours run out and they don't want you no more, and you done messed up that money, what do you got?
Nothing.
Huh?
Come on now.
People got to understand that it ain't the stuff that's awesome. Huh? That's not the awesome stuff.
No.
It's not the gift that's the awesome stuff. It's not my ability that's the awesome stuff. The awesome one is God.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's the awesome one. You know, there's other scripture that says that, you know, what it says, fear is the beginning of wisdom. Huh? The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom.
Say it. Say it.
Huh? That's really saying that your awe of God is the beginning of wisdom. Huh? Because there is a fear that causes a trembling. There is a fear that's a horror. There's a fear that's a dread.
Yeah, yeah.
But children of God don't have that kind of fear.
Right.
Huh? There is, for the children of God, fear turns out to be more a reverence for their Father. Huh? It's a holy reverence for our Father.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a dread of Him. It's not a trembling of Him. It is a reverent
Yeah.
of who He is.
Who He is.
And check this out. Only, and I love that, you know, God, you know how it always works in this service. You know, I think Markel started it off talking about Mom.
Okay.
And he was talking about her in the light of how she's there, how she responds. And then Mylan, and then Sister Tanya, and they're talking about their parents and what they did and how they did it, and just, you know, kind of a reverence.
Yeah.
Right? A respect for your moms, right?
That's right.
That's what the day is about, right? Remembering and having some respect for what Mom has done, right?
Yeah.
And so we do these things, right? We kind of put them in a position, right? He said, she's there when I call, I know
Yeah.
she gonna respond. That's what he said.
Yeah.
I know she gonna respond. And I really like that. I kept looking back at my notes and I'm like, no, they're not doing this.
Okay.
No, they're not. Because in a fear or reverence of God, the way the word is broken down is it's only a reverence between a child and a parent.
Wow. Come on now. Come on.
When the Bible is talking about the reverence and the fear that we have of God, he's talking about you as my child.
Okay.
Respect me.
Yeah.
And reverence me and know that I'll be there. Huh?
Yeah.
And he just demonstrated it while folk was talking about their parents, but God is like, no, I'm the one who will be there for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm the one. You get in it, you just get a taste.
Yeah.
You just get a little taste from your mama and your daddy. They give you just a little dribbling.
That's it.
But boy, when you come into contact with me, I'm going to overflow you with this thing.
Yes, sir.
Mommy and daddy can't overflow you. I can overflow you.
That's right.
Mommy and daddy might be able to quench your thirst, but I can overflow you so you don't thirst no more.
Right.
He said, that's the kind. He said, you understand that and you're in awe of me because of what I do for you and because of my creation, and you can see me in my creation. It causes you to bow down and worship me.
And worship.
Bow down.
Huh?
Come on now. Come on.
Your word in my heart, I'm in awe of. Think about it just for a minute. If I can get his word in my heart and cause it to be greater and bigger than anything else,
See? Come on now.
what can come my way?
Yeah.
Huh?
Right.
Again, let me just go back to David. David's just like that example. Go back to David. So, the biggest thing that could stand in front of his face, David had a word on the inside that he was in awe of. And he compared what he had on the inside of his heart to what was on the outside of him. He said, ain't no comparison.
No comparison. Come on.
Ain't no comparison.
Ain't no.
He said, look, dude, I don't even need no sword for you. Find me a rock. Just find me a rock. I'm going to show you how little and insignificant you really are. Take you out with a rock, hit you between your eyes.
Come on now.
Come on.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? situations arise, but we have the Word of God in our hearts that we're in awe of, and in comparison to what's in my heart and what's on the outside of me, there is no comparison. That's why I believe he says, when the princes persecute me without a cause. I know some folk been in here persecuted without a cause. I know folk that talks about you without a cause. I know folk that done some stuff to you without a cause. Sometimes the same children that give us reverence and tell us how wonderful we are, the same kids that use words and try to hit us upside the head with them. Huh? Us children ain't always said nice things about our parents.
That's right.
Come on, we done got mad at them, ain't we? Huh? And told them y'all know what y'all talking about. You don't know what you're doing. Huh? Get at that certain age and we start smelling ourselves. Huh? See, we ain't always, oh, we talk nice on Mother's Day, but it ain't all, every day ain't Mother's Day.
That's right. That's right.
It's every day ain't Mother's Day. Sometimes I don't even know you. And when we was real little, we said, I don't know why I'm in this family.
Oh,
Huh? I wish I was in such and such a family.
oh Lord, that's right.
That's all right. We ain't always give them reverence. Sometimes they just mean. Well,